Mental health is so important. It is just as important as your physical health. Every time you have pushed past difficult things, there's always been a reward. Understanding what I need to do to get myself to move forward, to get myself to get the highest version of myself, I need to do something that's unfamiliar. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is temporary. It's not something that's permanent.
Highest Version Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Highest Version Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Fullawong, and on this podcast, we talk about falling in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Guess what, guys? Another month has passed. Woo! And now we have the time to reflect on it. So let's get into it. So the month of April, to be honest with you guys, I was on autopilot mode, and I know how much I stress. I hate this because I just get stuck in the daily routine, not really being present at where my feet is at. But sometimes those months, those days, those weeks, whatever it is, you just got to be there to fulfill the responsibilities that you need to. And not to say like there weren't times where I wasn't present. When I was reflecting on this month, I just didn't know what I did. I mean, I know the bigger things, but not those like really small detail of how I am becoming the highest version of myself. So now I'm making sure that now that we are in May, to write down what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, things that I'm trying to unravel, unpack, and also, figure out what it means. Again, redefining always what becoming the highest version of myself means. Now, before we get into that, I just reminded myself that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health is so important. It is just as important as your physical health. Check on yourself, how you're feeling, checking on those around you. Just be a helping hand to whoever you can be and be compassionate with yourself. Share that compassion. Again, emphasizing the importance of mental health and to make an effort each and every day to ensure that you take care of it. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the episode. So the main thing with Reflection of April, the main question I'm going to answer today is, how did I become the highest version of myself this past month? And the number one thing, and it may be boring and a little bit cliche, is that I was fulfilling my responsibilities. Now, Randy, you're like, come on, that's it? That's all you really did? Sometimes, guys, there's a lot of things that you have to do that you need to fulfill on your list. Fulfill your daily responsibilities so that you can put food on the table, pay your bills. And that was what this month of April really was like. Well, with some creativity from my standpoint. What was happening this past month was it was a quarterly financial close for my company that I work at, my normal 9-to-5 job. And for those who are in the accounting and finance world, we all know how busy a quarter close can be because you are constantly sending deliverables, making sure reports are done correctly, making sure you're reporting the numbers correctly, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to bore you guys who are non-accountants into this. But the main thing here is that took up a lot of my April. Like a lot of it was pushing the effort and a lot of my energy towards that. So I had to take a step back with highest version things or things that I could usually fulfill, my other cups in my part of my life. The other part of it, I was actually working really hard with a group of friends of mine who we call ourselves Intermission. It's a dance crew that is in the Boston area, founded by those who have been on the show as guests for the episode. For example, Fatana, who created this dance group about what's your intermission. Similar to my brand in terms of like, hey, what are you doing to become the highest version of yourself? What is your definition of it? And we were getting ready for our showcase at Firebeat Studios in Winchester, Massachusetts. If you guys are interested in ballroom, I highly, highly recommend it. I'll make sure to put their link below if you guys are interested in ballroom dance and getting to, learn more social dance and really just get moving, because that community is truly loving and truly inspiring. Anyways, for all of April, we were getting ready for the showcase that was on the first week of May. It was just constant practices and me thinking about formations and choreography, how to clean certain things in my own choreo. If you guys didn't know, let's take a step back here. If you guys didn't know, dance is a huge part of my life. I've been dancing since I was the age of 5 when I watched a YouTube video that my brother was watching on breakdancing. And I was like, you know what, let me try this. And I actually was able to do the moves. And then from there, when I went into college, I learned choreography dancing. And that's where I really took off. Breakdancing has, always been a foundation, but I really have grown my interest in choreography and, have looked up to those that we see on YouTube for all of my dancer friends and community. like the Brian Pusposes, the Keone and Mario Madrid. It's just an amazing way for me to self-express myself. And I've really credited dance to getting out those feelings when I felt like I couldn't put it into words and really feel what I need to feel. Because sometimes when you're writing things down, you are holding back a little bit of it, right? So using my body to express how I feel. Anyways, a lot of April was to fulfill that. And if you guys want me to drop the performance, let me know, comment below, and I'll be happy to show you what we cooked up. It's an amazing set. April was really a lot of fulfilling the responsibilities that, I wanted to fulfill in my life. Obviously, 9-to-5 job was specifically to put food on the dinner table, pay bills, and then allowing that creativity part of my life outside of highest version and doing something that really makes me happy, and that's just dancing. But on top of that, dancing with those that I truly love being around and who I say is, kind of my second family. And, there's nothing better being on stage with those that you love and that you feel love from. So April, I gotta say, it was on autopilot mode for me, and that's okay. Sometimes we're gonna have months on that, but we're gonna be back again in May. I'm already writing down details of what's happening, what I'm thinking, and just hopefully having good reflections by it. So yeah, that is how I become the highest version of myself in the month of April. A, fulfilling my responsibilities, and B, making sure that the creativity part of my life is being fulfilled. So without further ado, guys, let's get into questions from the audience. The first question from the audience is, latest good eats you had. Now, my fiance always cooks soup on Sundays. We call it Soup Sundays. And it's such a comfort food for me. She makes a beef brisket noodle soup, which I love because it's just like after coming from practice and really working hard on Sundays, I just have this nice comforting bowl of soup that, makes you feel warm, makes you feel like home, right? So I love our Soup Sundays. I love our time together to really just enjoy food and prepare for the week, making sure that we are all set to go and to really just enjoy each other's company. So the best eats I've had lately really has been Soup Sundays with my fiance. The second question is, what's the first thing you're going to eat after your cut? Yeah, I have a long list of that. I've been dreaming about food because of how much I've been on this cut. I can't have fried food, can't have all these amazing things that I usually love to eat. But I am actually heading to San Diego right after I finish my cut, and I'm going to have Jollibee chicken. Yo, let me tell you, if you haven't had Jollibee chicken before, you have to. Unfortunately, it's something that I can't get around in the Boston area. Jollibee CEO, whoever, please bring it to Boston. I know there's one in New York, and I just loved it. Basically, Jollibee is like Filipino fast food, so fried chicken. There's specific spaghetti with ketchup, as well as like their desserts that are simply amazing. And I haven't had this in such a long time, and I was like, what have I been craving? And that was the first thing that popped into my mind because I was planning the San Diego trip, and I was like, oh shit, like there's Jollibee, like I gotta get Jollibee, right? So Jollibee is definitely on that list. I miss all-you-can-eat settings. I've had to miss out on 2 birthdays because they decided to go to all-you-can-eat barbecue places, and I simply can't because it's so tempting to go for, those marinated things. Some of the meat has marbling or fat on it. It's all about, again, environment, right? Keeping yourself out of those situations where you're going to give into things that are not supporting your goal. Jollibee chicken, all-you-can-eat. I miss y'all so much, and I'm gonna be there soon. Big Back Energy is coming back soon. And the last question, and I love this question, is how do you push past your comfort zone when it's easier to be comfortable? Ooh, really well-worded answer too. Now, we have to remember that our brain, right? The purpose of our brain is to make sure that we are safe. And what safety is to our brain is comfort. So our brain's like, I'm good here. We're comfortable. Let's just stay here. Let's not really, do anything. I will say the biggest umbrella here on how we push past our comfort zone when it's easier to be comfortable is to understand that it's all about mindset and how we look at the things that we need to push past in terms of like discomfort. So if we're talking about obstacles, the one mindset that I really think about is really that is understanding the main purpose of your brain. If your brain doesn't know the difference between real fear or real danger between reality danger. When it comes to things that are uncomfortable to us, for example, say you are someone that is not usually a morning riser and usually like a night owl, but you want to become a morning riser, those first few days are going to be tough because your brain is like, hey, just come back to bed, snuggle up in your blanket. You don't need to wake up early, because that's what your brain is feeding for that comfort and desire to just be comfortable because it's safe. But you know yourself that you want to change this part of your life and make a new normal. Ooh, that's a good one. Realizing that, hey, we need to make a new normal, right? If we do the same things, we have these goals, those planning stages of when you are creating your goals. If you're doing the same things that you're doing then, you're not really going to go anywhere. You're just going to be very stagnant if you adhere to your brain's purpose to being comfortable and feeling and wanting to be safe. So those first things that you're doing that is unfamiliar to your routine, unfamiliar to what your brain thinks is normal, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to present a lot of obstacles. So in order for us to push past that, we have to understand, hey, our brain is just wants to be safe right now, but at the end of the day, I know there's a goal that I want to achieve, and in order to get there, I need to do these certain things that are different from my normal routine. And then soon enough, right, if we talk about the psychology of or how our brain works with habits, it starts to be like, okay, this is fine, this isn't dangerous, this is normal, we're good. Your brain starts to realize it's a new normal, and then starts to realize like, hey, this is comfortable now. This is not something that's unfamiliar to us. Another mindset shift is knowing that every time you have pushed past difficult things, there's always been a reward. There's so many visuals about how if you push past like the big hill, that there's like gold or something like that. I feel like in my entire life, every time I push past something difficult, it's been an amazing reward. So for example, mentally wise, or if I go back to therapy, there's narrative of myself that I had was I'm a bad person. I'm a disappointment. I always make people mad. I always make people sad. That was the narrative my brain was so used to. And it was unfamiliar to my brain to introduce these nicer thoughts to myself. Isn't that crazy? The fact that I'm introducing nicer thoughts to myself is making me uncomfortable because my brain is so used to the narrative of me saying, hey, you are a bad person. All right, we're going to keep to that. We're going to stay away from people. We're not going to engage with people. Like, come on. Like, how does that, from a logical standpoint to an emotional standpoint, how does that make sense? I was really uncomfortable at the beginning of therapy because I didn't want to allow myself to say nice things about me. And I'm pretty sure you guys are hearing this like, really? Like, you don't want to hear nice things about yourself coming from your own self? Trust me, it was hard. Like, my therapist was really trying to get these nicer things to say to myself to interrupt the narrative that was leading me to a path that wasn't the highest version of myself, a path that wanted me to leave this world. That's one example. If I get another example of physically, our muscles need to tear in order to grow. And I want to grow my muscle. But if I stay in the comfort of, just lifting 5 pounds, 5-pound dumbbells, and, doing lateral raises or chest presses or anything like that, I'm not going to grow at all. Understanding what I need to do to get myself to move forward, to get myself to get the highest version of myself, I need to do something that's unfamiliar. How can you expect different results if you're doing the same thing? How can you expect your outputs to be different if your inputs are the same? It's really understanding that there's a huge reward to getting past difficult things. It shows your brain and yourself that you can get past difficult things. It builds that tolerance. And also problem solving, critical thinking. There's just so much of a reward to push past obstacles where you don't, like I said, I think in the past solo episode, a victim mindset. We don't want to fall into that comfortable victim mindset because that way we are letting go of the control that we honestly have in this life. And just to re-emphasize a little bit more, we can't get to our goals if we stay comfortable. Another great saying that people say is, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Ooh, man, I know a lot of people use that or have that saying in their head because that's what helps them push past all these obstacles. And I know it's easier for you to, pick up that donut. It's easier for you to cheat on your diet. It's easier for you to not go to the gym. or not dedicate some time towards having time with your family or friends. I know those are all things that are so much easier, but it's not helping you towards your goal. So why feed into it? Why allow it to stop you from where you want to be? So overall, in order for you to push past your comfort zone, you need to understand, one, your brain's purpose is primarily to keep you safe, and part of that safeness is being comfortable. Other thing is understanding that there's such a great reward with pushing past difficult things. It increases your self-worth. It allows you to get to that life that you want. It builds more confidence in yourself that, hey, you can get through troubling times and difficult things in your life. And overall, getting past those comfortable things allows you to become the highest version of yourself. And one more thing I will add, being uncomfortable is temporary. It's not something that's permanent. So understanding that with hard work, persistence, consistency, that you are able to push past this uncomfortableness, you just got to give yourself a chance to push through it. All right, guys. So those are all the questions from the audience. Let's get into the reflection buckets. I know some of y'all love this, and I appreciate that you love it too. It reminds me that, hey, gotta count my small wins. So let's get into the bucket. All right, dump it out here. Okay. So let's read this first reflection bucket. This win says, really balancing everything well. Man, do I wish I still doing that. I mean, this is a huge one because I feel like this is something that's not going to happen every day. That I'm not going to balance everything well, right? Some days it's going to be tough to have balancing like friends, family, work, business. It's really hard to do this thing called balancing. And the fact that I was able to do it one time during this month was amazing, especially with the amount of things that I was going on with dance, work, highest version. Oh man, so many things. So that's one win. The second win is engage with my community on socials. Now, I love when you guys DM me. I love when we have a chance to talk about, what can I do to help you become the highest version of myself? Because I feel like there is knowledge that I want to share, and maybe it's an untapped knowledge that I'm not bringing to my attention because it's like, I feel like that's all right. But what if that all right thing is something that will help you? So I want to make sure to always engage with you guys and just understand what I can do to help you become the highest version of yourself and really help you build the life that you want. So engaging my community is always a fun thing to do. And I love you guys so much. So I appreciate those DMs. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate reviews. I appreciate you guys just being here. So thank you so much. Next one is getting complimented on podcast work. Yes. I don't know if it was through a DM or through a conversation with a friend, but I'm pretty sure someone was like, oh, hey, you were a great host, or you bring this kind of element to the podcast episodes when I listen. And honestly, it means the world to me when you guys let me know about how much either this podcast means to you or how I'm doing as, a podcast host. It truly is something that is a huge win for me, and getting compliments on it for all this hard work that I put in, it makes me feel amazing. And I hope I can continue to influence you guys to feel that way, or to help me know. But if you guys feel like I'm doing an amazing job or a good work or something, please let me know. And of course, I always appreciate you guys. Now, another one is made sure I performed a reset. What could this be about? I think it is trying to implement this thing in my system where every night I perform a reset. If there are clothes and stuff everywhere or the house is dirty, I try to reset the house so that it's back to its clean version. It makes me feel accomplished. It makes me feel like, hey, like we are gonna start off the next day just how we left it. No, we're gonna start the next day just how we started it today. And that's an amazing feeling, especially when, your house is clean. You know where things are. You're not rummaging around for certain things. And you're not wasting time doing these other things that should have been already resetted at the end of the day. So yeah, performing a reset, guys. Very important. Very important. And the last one is changed friend hangout from food to goal work, running. Ooh, guys, come on. This is amazing because I'm so used to friend hangouts only being related to food. Now, I'm not complaining about the food. It's just sometimes in this economy, food is expensive or it's just, harder to go out and eat. And I feel like the friend hangout, especially at my age, it's always like, oh, let's go grab food. Let's go grab food. What if there's a way to hang out without having to spend money? I've seen posts about, doing things where you guys both are working towards your goal. So whether, hey, maybe you and your friend have a business and you guys can, instead of hang out, dedicate a certain time to, hey, let's go to a cafe and sit down and do some work together. We're in each other's presence. We can still talk to one another. I can be like, oh, I can't talk to you. But it's still something, right? It's still, you guys are still enjoying each other's time. And again, it's like the whole thing of checking in on people. 10, 15 minutes is cool enough. And if that's all you have, that's all you have. That's something that people sometimes forget. We don't need this, like these big parties and big hangouts to hang out with their friends. There could be some things that you can do, like, hey, like I'm really busy with, I have to go to the gym. Why don't you hang out with your friend at the gym if that's something that you're interested in? I just feel like stereotypically, like friend hangouts are always related to food, and sometimes it doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be a situation where you have to spend money. These are amazing wins for April, and I only hope to make sure that we continue to get more and more wins and doing better reflecting for sure. So guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this short episode. Apologies again, April was a lot of autopilot mode, but I hope you guys took away something important from this episode. If I could summarize, and what I think is important is really just getting on the grind, fulfilling the responsibilities that you have to do, but things that will help you survive and help you become the highest version of yourself. Another thing is push past your comfort zone. I mean, the life experiences that we gain are really pushing past our comfort zone. I sometimes have so much anxiety with traveling overseas, and how am I going to be able to experience the gift of seeing other countries and cultures and other things that are outside of my home area without pushing past that comfort zone? So again, just one more example going into getting out of your comfort zone, get comfortable being uncomfortable so that you can build the life that you want, so that you can accomplish the goals, and most importantly, so that you can become the highest version of yourself. So without further ado, guys, if you liked any part of this episode, clip it, tag me in it. And as always, let's fall in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. I love y'all so much.